O. Cheers, darling, in the month beginning with O, that became our month all those years ago, for suggesting I listen to the music on O, especially the last song, number 10, Eskimo. The one with the Finnish opera soprano brings new dimensions to a spurned lover's woe. I suppose it's one way of letting me know you remembered that this year marks the big 1-0. Yep, 10 years since we met. Where did they go? It seems only yesterday you breezed soft and slow, an Esmeralda in dazzling bohemian sunshine, smoky and mellow, round a corner in Belfast, the perfect red O of your lips sending me over the rainbow, as the leaves fell on Queens, like a scene from Zhivago, and the revolution lurched on. That day a Provo bomb had exploded up the Shankill, in slow-mo it seems now, as we walked through the quiet botanic gardens, hand in hand, was it? No, our first touch came later. For now the flow of sirens across town meant you had to go. A waif in a taxi through the furious glow of rush hour and rumour, the news on the radio that reprisals were promised from dark Sandy Row, leaving me to go back to my flat to lie low and watch on TV history swallow another few innocents without any sorrow. In the days and weeks and months to follow, we became the pair in Dunn's The Good Morrow, finding new worlds in each other. 'Twas so. As autumn turned winter and leaf fall to snow, translating both shipyard and dark terraced row into a realm of whiteness and willowy strangeness reminiscent of Basho, we fell through ourselves to our souls below, in a flat where the meter just seemed to know the appropriate moment to suddenly go off with a click, leaving us two with no other alternative than to light candles and throw more wood salvaged from skips on the yellow flickering flames in our Victorian memento, a marble fireplace which sent grotesque shadow vampires on all fours up the walls like a Bram Stoker novel come to life, and scaring us so out of our senses we let all sense go, like a storm cloud of bats, out of the window and into the moon's cold bloodless O. It was in that stellar coldness your oh so Egyptian green eyes would sparkle like Cleopatra's, and I would be borne downstream by the flow of the Nile through the ancient land of the locust and sphinx, Anubis and Pharaoh. Damned if I'd look back on the glory of Roman loneliness I'd cloaked with bravado in pubs until then, drowning 8 pints or so. As you undressed and kissed me, the candles burnt low, wind howling outside like wolves in the snow. Until spring constructed a living tableau of soft budding love, a dream of Verona in blue dawns, the garden in Romeo and Juliet, cherry blossom aglow on the avenues at evening, blackbird and swallow re-recording it seemed astral weeks in broad stereo, or the train up from Dublin through Sandy Row, forever reprising the harmonica solo from the TV sheets intro, gotta go, as we plighted ourselves in the sun's golden ammo, or walked by the lagoon in a silence that no songbird would break, through twilights of topaz and emerald out of Romancero Gitano, where I was a gypsy who moaned the dark O in that pitiful line, Mi soledad sin descanto, and you the mozuela who made the words flow, Iki yo me la leve al rio, far beyond Spain and the mass graves of Franco. We'd had enough of civil war though. The phoenix that rose from the blood in the GPO in 1916 had turned into a minotaur stalking each lane street and ghetto, howling insanely like the beast in Picasso's painting of Guernica, perspective exploding in shock under history's salvo. Our text was the ballad of John and Yoko, bringing us back to the Paris of revolution and roses and rifles, the echoing strains of trumpet and cello from the summer of love, love's pop concerto, painting Belfast in a rainbow of day-glow as our own blue meanies gave up their gung-ho redefinitions of the North's status quo, and hope filled the air like a harp's fine glissando. But you know, the world's shaped like an O, and that means that it turns. Ask Galileo. He figured it out. So did Shakespeare, the hero of all the great tragedies, Lear, Hamlet, Othello, finds out to his cost what it means to be so vulnerable to time, trapped in the O of the globe and his head, as the dark heavens open and unloose cataract hurricano on the bare forked creature who once was just so fine, quoting Dylan, in his prime, fit to throw dimes to the bums down on Desolation Row. Soon to know what it's like to be homeless, soon to know how the Jester King felt when the Alpha and Omega of God on our side proved as hollow as presidential security or the wisdom of NATO. And Dreamscape evolved to bare stage, Pirandello pulling the strings on an absurd scenario. Which is all another way of admitting, I know, my unfortunate trait, after too much red vino, of turning into some kind of volcano, like Alan Bates in the film of Barstow's A Kind of Loving, the working class hero wrecking rooms in meltdowns on Merlot. Too many nights out ended in broken wine glasses, TVs, and once in a moment of moonlight and madness, a Clio parked in the path of my mood's lava flow. All of which, I suppose, was a bit of a faux pas in your world of Modigliani and Miro, holiday snaps from Venice or Bordeaux, white lilies or roses in your big bay window, like the ones McNeice included in Snow, reminding me I was one of the low, and more than glass was between us. Ergo, there was something foreseen about the ice floe that grew in the fault line as your tears froze for the last time and forced me to go off into the cold with the wolves, Eskimo, and miles upon miles of nothing, an O of emptiness to walk through and grow invisible in time, in the wind and the snow. So while you acted out the story of O with the shadow of a shadow of a shadow, I was busy falling into the O of a bottomless well, shared with Sadako, the faceless ghost girl from the Ring video I was watching a week before the ultimate low of being stood in an alleyway under the window of your single girl flat just off the Ormo, resigned to catching you in flagrante delicto, and catching your features lit by the glow of a full moon straight out of Horror, Sleepy Hollow, or one of the tales of Edgar Allan Poe, cast a cold eye on me shivering below, a cross between Frollo and Quasimodo in a medieval nightmare a la Victor Hugo, torn by the lure of the Seine or the gallows redemption from the hunger to know your darkest secret, your midnight fandango. It was only a week or so after the Oma bombers had attempted to blow us all into a landscape from Dante's Inferno, or perhaps a bit closer to home from Toynbee Cualnga, Saga Dark, the grey crow brooding over the final death throe of the unborn child in the burnt reeking torso. And I walked through the Holy Land to my cheap studio, advertised to suit man and his echo, to dream for the third night in a row of the dead rising up like a George A. Romero zombie horde massed outside my window, moaning a tongueless, worm-eaten O. In the days and weeks and months to follow, I became the guy in El Deste's shadow, de Nerval's dream vision, stroke poem, Abelook Tars and the sunless black O outside the walls of the Siren Sea grotto, coming to countless mornings under hungover-cast skies to a chorus of Oasis's Don't Look Back in anger and Loaded's fairy-like covergirl Joe guessed stuck between my cheek and the pillow, in the house where Hitchcock shot most of Psycho, as time trundled on like a travelling freak show, or a DVD box set of the Jerry Springer Show, full of hunchbacks, gargoyles, and all kinds of grotesques coming out of the woodwork, saying hello from my mirror, haunting my video, even moving in down the hallway, Lolo Lolo Lola from the Kinks song, drowning Perno and sharing his story in a revealing kimono, while I signed myself into the Greta Garbo Home for the Wayward as the madman with no name, alias Alfie, alias Philip Marlowe, taking the escape route established by Ovid, avoiding a fully blown schizo, sozo en enfer, worthy of Rambo. All that, it seems now, was fado, as silent movies and the era of RKO, the Russian Revolution and the fall of the Romanovs, or a star that burnt out aeons ago. And though I still live in its faint afterglow, I'm a far cry from the place where it went supernova, swallowing me in its fiery red O, as I stand outside Queen's once again in October in peacetime, i.e. same old scenario, same shootings, same stabbings, except no explosions around here for a while. Same old rain though, and same old Ulster forever saying no. There's romance in the air as a last leaf lets go of a sycamore branch and falls into a Doisneau print of a street scene where two lovers are thrown mouth to make music allegro in the midst of the city's vast to and fro. The funny thing is, I was playing Eskimo when I saw you today, near the Europa, crossing the street. Then I was Zhivago, glimpsing Lara on a packed street in Moscow, before they both got lost in the inferno of history. God, I even had to let go of the steering wheel, as my heart near exploded with love and longing. Well, so much for forgetting the breezes that blow through our lives like wind through aeolian harps, or trying to frame a safe motto, without the rain you wouldn't get the rainbow, found on a postcard in Westport, Mayo. Out of our heartbreaks and the theories of Vico, some things are too precious to ever let go, like poetry, October, love, you, me.